Welcome to another episode of Breaking Down the Bible. Today we are reading the Tower of Babel all the way through Abraham and Syria and Egypt. Let's just jump right into it. Okay, now the whole earth had one language and the same words, and they migrated from the east. They came upon a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone, and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, and the tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves. Otherwise we shall be scattered abroad the face of the whole earth." The Lord came down to see the city and the tower which mortals had built. And the Lord said, "Look, they are one people, and they have one language, and this is the beginning of what they will do. Nothing they will propose to do now will be impossible. Come, let us go down and confuse their language, so that they will not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of the earth, and they left off building the city. Therefore it was called Babel, because the Lord God confused their language of all the earth. And from there the Lord scattered them abroad from the face of all the earth. And that's the end of that. And I find that story very interesting because I was waiting to read this one because it's interesting, trying to build a tower to the heavens, and God was like, "That's a no. Get out of here," and scattered them, messed up their language, put them all over the face of the earth. This kind of hints because a big part in the Bible is the fear of the one world government, and that's kind of what that was saying. All the people in one city, all together, pretty much against the God, not for God, against Him. And that's what's dangerous, because you're relying on people, you're relying on man, you're giving all your problems to man. It's not. So that's the problem with it. Okay, so the descendants of Shem. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. The descendants of Shem. These are the descendants of Shem when Shem was 100 years old. Oh gosh. Okay, this is a family tree one. I mean, I like them, but they're hard because the names are difficult. Okay, so he lived to 100 years old. He became the father of Arpachshad 2 years after the flood, and Shem lived after the birth of Arpachshad 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arpachshad had lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah, and Arpachshad lived after the birth of Shelah 400 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shelah lived to 30 years old, he became the father of Eber, and when Shelah lived after the birth of Elah 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber became 34 years old, he became the father of Peleg, and Eber after the birth of Peleg 400 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg lived 30 years, he became the father of Reu, and Peleg lived after the birth of Reu 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Shirug, and Reu after the birth of Shirug 207 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shirug lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor, and after Shirug lived after the birth of Nahor 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor lived to 29 years, so I guess the youngest, he became the father of Terah, and Nahor after the birth of Terah lived 119 years and had other sons and daughters. When Terah lived to 70 years old, so he was very old, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So named his son after his father. So that's interesting. Okay, so I kind of sped through that. I think that was not that long of a family tree one. But I liked it. Just a nice little family tree. There's no problem with family trees. Okay, so next we have the descendants of Terah. These are the descendants of Terah. Terah was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran was the father of Lot. Haran died before his father, Terah, in the land of his birth, in Ur of the Chaldeans. Abraham and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, and she was the daughter of Haran, and the father of Milcah and Iscah. And Sarai was barren. She had no child. Okay, so I just wanted to say something really quick. In the Bible, there are people with multiple wives, and that is looked down upon. I'm sure I've said it before in another reading. It's looked down upon. God's not like jumping in joy when a man takes multiple wives. He does it because no man's without sin, but it's wrong. You should not. You shouldn't. You should not. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Next. Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, and Sarah, his son of Abram's wife, and they went out together from Ur of the Chaldeans to go into the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. The days after Terah were 205 years, and then Terah died in Haran. Okay, so that was just explaining. I was kind of wrapping up the storylines of Terah, like ending with his death in Haran. So these are very, very quick, as you can see. Like Genesis, like I guess 11 to 12, which is what we're reading. Very, very quick, very just to the point. Here, boom, 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 your facts. As you can see, like 12 is tremendously short. 11:27 to 11:32 was also very, very short. So these are just to the point. Here's what you need to know. Here's the facts. Bing, 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 bong. Okay, so now we have. What do we have next? We have Abram and Sarai in Egypt. So now there was a famine in the land. So Abraham went down to Egypt to reside there as an alien, for the famine was severe in the land. The famine was severe in the land. I added an accent to that. When he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, "I know well that you are a woman, beautiful in appearance. And when the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife.' They will kill me. Then they will kill me, but they will not let you live. But they will let you live. Say you are my sister, so that it may go well with me because of you, and that my life may be spared in you. Oh my gosh, I cannot read. Say that you are my sister, because of me my life will be spared on your account." When Abraham entered Egypt and the Egyptians saw how beautiful the woman was, very beautiful, when the officials of Pharaoh saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, and for her sake he dealt well with Abram. And he had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female slaves, female donkeys, and camels. Okay. But the Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abraham's wife. So Pharaoh called Abram and said, "What is this that you have done to me? Why did you not tell me she was your wife? Why did you say, 'She's my sister,' so that I took her for my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and be gone." And the Pharaoh gave his men orders concerning him, and they had set him on his way with his wife and all he had. Okay, so that's the end of the last part we will be reading in this episode of Breaking Down the Bible. I liked it. I thought it was very interesting to the point introducing new people from in the Bible. What else did it do? The last story was interesting because he was like, "Listen, you're pretty cute, and I don't need those Egyptians knowing that you're my wife, because it will actually just straight up kill me." So he lied, and the Pharaoh took her in, and then God was like, "You know what? Don't do that bad," and then threw a plague at him, and he's like, "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why'd you say she was your sister?" So it's an interesting story. I found it interesting. But thank you so much for watching. And I would love to see you back later. See you in the next one.